welcome to the Distinguished Twins podcast. I'm Victor. I go by Kane. I prefer to be called Kane. And this is...
I'm Vincent. Some people call me Deuce. Some people call me Professor Anderson. Some people call me Professor Who Kill 'Em. You know, just a drip. I'm just saying. But when me and Kane, whenever we sat down and we thought about doing a podcast, this was something that we thought about for about 6 months or so. I mean, we thought about it, and then we actually got, the courage to get up and do it. But naturally, when he presented the idea, this was originally his idea, so he's definitely the pioneer of it. But whenever he presented it, I had to think to myself, like, okay, what can I present? What can I present to people? What can I offer to a podcast? And naturally, I have a background in sociology. Let's see, I have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, and I earned my master's degree in sociology. And I'm roughly about a couple months away from earning my doctoral degree in community resources and development. I'm a college professor of sociology as well. So sociology is an extremely fascinating subject. I love sociology. There's an array of topics that you can discuss within sociology. And for me, maybe, it's a little bit of a biasness in it, but I believe that sociology, every single person, whether college or high school, needs to take a sociology course, because I think that it does a much better job of explaining some of the human behaviors that we aren't necessarily aware of, and necessarily of how they come about. And so a lot of people don't know about socialization and other things that influence human behavior. Sometimes there's the argument of nature versus nurture. And so the nurture comes in with being socialized. And so through the numerous institutions available in society, you're going to have, what sociology encompasses. And so from the family to the legal system to the housing market, the education system, so on and so forth. That's what you're going to have. So again, I'm extremely fascinated with sociology. I'm excited to share my information about sociology, just as I'm always excited every day I step into my classroom to teach my students about sociology. So I feel like it's extremely informative, and I believe that it'll be very beneficial. So again, with my educational background, with my professional expertise, I felt like I could offer something to the viewers and the listeners, but also learn as well, because, we want to make this very fun and engaging, to where, we have that discourse back and forth after the videos are up or whatnot. Even we'll have people calling in who want to talk about certain topics. And again, it's a learning process for everybody. It's all about edification. And so where we are, with this podcast, with my portion of my contribution to the podcast, I really feel like I can offer something of value. And again, this is why I agreed to do it. And I'm very fortunate and grateful that my twin brother, came up with this idea, because I believe it'll be very beneficial for a lot of people. Yes, sir.
Very good. And I agree. My biggest thing was that when I initially thought about the podcast, I thought I wanted to share information, but also, like my brother said, I wanted to learn. Yeah. I have a background in, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been a serial entrepreneur. We also played sports as well. Mm-hmm. But after sports, got into all types of business. I've learned a lot. I have a master's degree, and it's specialized in healthcare, but it had a lot of business administration principles within the program. I'm currently a student at Johns Hopkins University, going for my MBA.
If you don't know about Johns Hopkins, just saying, look it up. It's one of the top 10 universities in the world. Yeah. So, twin bro, over there at Johns Hopkins. I mean, again, we value education so much.
Yes.
But I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. I'm just
No,
proud. I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you,
appreciate it.
man.
Yeah, I'm proud of you as well. Yeah.
I appreciate it, brother.
And actually, I can, let me sidebar really quickly. My brother, he actually got me back into education. I had my bachelor's degree, and when I saw him go through his master's program, I was extremely impressed. I didn't say, oh, well, if he did it, I can do it. He actually came to me, and because I was in my entrepreneur life at that point, and I was looking for different ways to grow. And so he brought education to me, and he thought that, I should go and give it a try. And I did. When I got my master's degree, I doubled up. I completed the program in half the time that it takes. It was very challenging, but very rewarding as well. And like I said, I gained a lot of business principles in that program, and thought that I could also enhance my business knowledge by going back to get another master's degree from Johns Hopkins. So it's a fantastic program, a fantastic university. It's just rich with lots of different business, men and women in our classes. Obviously, if anyone knows about school, you have discussion boards, and the knowledge that's shared within those realms is just it's priceless. Let's say that it's priceless.
It's invaluable.
And obviously, the courses themselves teach you a lot as well. They give you a lot of game on business itself. So my thought was that, especially with somebody that I really valued, and I still value to this day. He's still with us in spirit. Was Nipsey Hussle, and I listened to his music a lot. He spoke a lot about cutting out the middleman, a lot about business, different business principles, and I was thinking about with his mindset, a lot of his principles have been shared, and obviously a lot of people have been about ownership and trying to delve into the entrepreneur life, but I think that there's ways to be more successful. I feel like I've been successful in my entrepreneur life, and I feel like I can share some information, and like I said, also learn information. We'll be bringing in entrepreneurs. They'll be calling in successful entrepreneurs that can give good tips on how they started out and how they maneuvered.
Absolutely.
And just it's so many different facets to business, and I think everyone knows that. It's just I think there are certain ways to go about it.
Absolutely.
Once again, to increase your chances for success.
Absolutely.
So that was my first initial thought, and I thought about who else I could do the podcast with, and none other than my brother. He's sociology. He's taught me a lot about it. I had no idea what sociology was when he first got into it. But if you ever have, if he teaches his classes, but if you guys actually will get a chance to hear him speak about different topics, you'll see that sociology pertains to your everyday life. Literally. So the information that he's going to share with you is rich, and you will be able to apply it to your life. It will be relatable.
Absolutely.
And if you've heard him speak, he's very powerful. He's very knowledgeable. And I kept telling him, man, people have to hear you, because that information that you share, you taught me so much, and I'm like,
appreciate it.
As many people as we can, they need to hear this.
Yes, sir.
I feel like that's his gift. We actually went into entrepreneurship together, and it went great, but he didn't have the passion for it like I do.
Nah.
I love business. I love business.
Not my thing. Yeah, not my thing.
That's why this idea, that's why it was more so, like he said, I thought about it. Absolutely. And then, from there forward, we mapped it out together, planned everything together. Everything has been just, hand in hand. He's been, given great assistance because it was my vision, and he's just helped me, bring it to life. So,
absolutely.
I'm very, very thankful, obviously, for him.
Yeah.
I think we played professional football together. Obviously, we played college together as well, high school, Little League. That was our passion.
Yeah.
And once we lost the passion for sports,
yes,
we sat around and we worked. like I said, I got into the entrepreneurial life, and we had to find another passion, essentially.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like when my brother found sociology, it was like him finding football again.
Bottom line,
it changed his life. You're talking about purpose. That's, like I said, purpose. He has it. That's his purpose for sure. I feel like, and also with sociology, with what he's doing, there's also many other things that branch off from sociology that we're involved in with trying to help communities, help just anyone that we can. We want to help. We want to empower people more than anything.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely, and we'll definitely get a lot more into that in later episodes as far as helping communities, focusing on certain marginalized populations within this country, even globally. So we'll definitely delve into that. We'll share some information on that. I'm just extremely excited about this. This is everything.
Yes.
I'm extremely excited. You're going to get a lot of passion from me, a lot of passion from my brother.
Yes.
You're going to get tons of passion because we're extremely excited about this opportunity. And again, it's a lot of information out there that we want to learn from you. And at the same time, again, we can go back and forth and we can help to, again, as he stated, empower one another. So
yes,
I can't say it enough. I'm excited about this.
Yes. As you can see, this is, we're more so trying to lay a foundation. We're not here to preach. We actually do want to engage, like I said, share information, but also learn. We want to create a community environment
There you go.
where it's inclusive. We want everyone to feel like they can chime in. We want everyone to chime in. Like I said, we're here to help. Like we want to try and bring a different element to people's lives and learn.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, as if you decide to go to any one of our social media sites, you have an opportunity to see our purpose statement. One of the biggest things that we want to do with this is motivate. I mean, bottom line, we want to be able to motivate you guys, to follow your dreams, follow your passion. Because one thing that you will, again, as I stated, you're going to get a lot of that passion from us as you hear us talk about certain subjects. So, we want to motivate. That's one of the biggest things. And again, we want to pull inspiration from the viewers and the listeners as well. So that's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah. And today, one of the biggest things that we thought we should touch on is confidence.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And when it comes to confidence, we've done quite a few things in our lives thus far.
Yes, sir.
From sports, obviously, like I said, from different levels of sports to school. I've been in, a movie, some commercials, like I said, entrepreneur life, a lot of different things. And when you're taking that leap to try something different, the craziest and hardest thing to do is to truly believe in yourself.
Bottom line.
And when you want to do something, you'll see a lot of people doing things, and just because you're unsuccessful doesn't mean it's your passion. Maybe it was something you needed to learn out of that, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That opportunity. So I thought about it like this. When you sit and you meditate and you're thinking about something that you want to do. When I thought about this podcast, I literally, because I believe I am a visionary, I saw myself and then I saw my brother. And this whole studio, I saw it. It was a picture, I saw it. That's why I knew we should do this, right? And when you sit and you meditate and you think on what your passion is and what you want to do, the question you have to ask yourself is, as you're envisioning these things happening in this field that you want to go into, are you seeing yourself actually doing this? Or are you seeing the person who motivated you to possibly want to do this?
I like
because if you can see yourself doing it, I believe you're on the right path.
There we go.
But if you keep thinking about so-and-so did this, you got it all wrong.
Hello.
Right? Hello, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm currently in project management. I'm a project manager right now. And there's a lot of different facets to project management. And one of the biggest things that you have to talk about in the beginning, you have to talk about throughout the entire project is risk.
Yes.
And when you're thinking about going into business, that's a big risk because it's a lot of money, a lot of resources, that's a lot of energy,
Yes,
right?
sir.
That you're putting into this. And if you haven't mapped out a plan and actually seen yourself doing these things, you might want to pump your brakes
Yeah.
and really just figure out if this is what you're supposed to be doing, because true confidence comes from that. You have the confidence because you saw it, you felt it, and you're going to experience failure. Now, when you experience failure, if you quit, you never had confidence.
No, you didn't.
You never had it.
No, you doubted yourself from
You
the beginning.
doubted yourself from the beginning. You're like,
sir.
dang, I knew this was going to happen.
Absolutely.
But when you truly believe that this is your calling, this is what you're supposed to be doing,
Absolutely.
you'll get knocked down 100 times. You're still going to get back up.
Oh, bottom line.
Because you know it's for you.
You know it's for you.
And we'll talk more about, our football path.
Yes.
It was a lot of no's,
Oh, my goodness.
a lot of tears. It's a cliche, blood, sweat, and tears, literally. A lot of
Literally.
blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes, sir.
Put in mad work
Yeah.
and got, we reached heights that people told us, nah,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
But we always believed in one another.
Absolutely.
And ourselves. That's the biggest thing. You have to believe in yourself before anyone else will believe in you.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, and to piggyback off what he's saying, again, confidence, with our athletic background, when you think about confidence, America is such a sports-driven country, entertainment-driven country. And, when you think about, say your favorite player, I don't know, whatever sport that you like. As you can see, I got the king behind me. I love LeBron James.
yeah.
But when you look at players, what you have to understand is this: everybody who's playing, let's just choose the NBA. Everybody who's playing in the NBA right now was obviously good enough to make it, right? And so the difference between the players who were good enough to make it, because they still beat just ridiculous odds to be there.
Yes.
Ridiculous odds to be there, right?
Yes.
Now, what separates a lot of the good players and the great players is confidence.
Yes.
Period. Go to football. If anybody knows Deion Sanders,
Yes.
I would recommend that you go and follow his Instagram. He's extremely motivational. I mean, all of the time he's giving so much wisdom just about life in general, sports. It doesn't matter. He's giving tons of wisdom. But anywho, Deion Sanders, he is one of the most gifted athletes to ever touch a football field. But if you ever hear him speak, he's going to tell you what separated him from everyone else was his confidence.
Yes.
He knew that football was his pathway to create a better life for his mother, for himself, and for his other loved ones. And so he had that confidence. He never, ever doubted himself. And honestly, if you look at the modern day football player who may have a little bit more sauce to him, a little bit of swag to him, it started with Deion Sanders, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because
I agree.
he was so confident.
Yes.
And the thing that I hate, or that I dislike strongly, is when you have confident people, some people will mistake that confidence for arrogance.
Yes.
And that, to me, I think it's unfair, and it's worn out, it's overly used. I believe that the majority of the time, when you see individuals complaining about somebody being so confident and calling them arrogant,
Yes.
I think most of the time that person has an issue with their own confidence.
Yes.
And so, me personally, I've never seen a confident person call another confident person arrogant. I'm just saying.
Ever.
That's in my own personal experience.
Never, ever.
And so, in anything that you're doing, it's going to take that confidence. With my brother in this podcast, it took confidence.
Yes.
With me to get up and us being the first college graduates in our family,
Yes.
it took confidence. We had to believe that we could do it.
Yes.
For me to get up and go back and get my master's degree, I had to believe that I could do it. I had to have the confidence.
Yes.
And I had tons of support from my brother, from my wife, from my mother, from my father. I had tons of support.
Yes.
And so, but at the same time, I had to first believe in me. and for me to even turn around and go and believe that I could do a PhD program.
Yes.
I had to have that confidence. So again, when you talk about confidence, that's what's going to separate you from the rest of the crowd. Now, again, as Kane just stated, you have to ensure that this is something that you want to do. And if it's something that you truly want to do, again, you will never relinquish that dream. You'll never relinquish that opportunity. You will go for it until you do find yourself standing there successful with everything that you envisioned, that you dreamed of. So again, confidence, extremely important.
Yes.
You got to have it in your everyday life to follow your dreams, to follow your passions.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, obviously, confidence can translate into trust,
Yes.
to faith,
Yes.
all these different, things that you need to have in order to, chase your dreams, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And I think, the problem is a lot of people, like I was saying, with meditating, and if you can envision yourself,
Yes, sir.
I think that a lot of people are stuck in life because they don't take the time to see what they're really passionate about.
Absolutely.
I think it's rare to meet people with their purpose.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I think the problem is this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I think and what I've experienced.
Okay.
People wake up,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
And they haven't taken the time to sit down, sit still,
Yes, sir.
and think on what they love,
Absolutely.
what makes them go,
Exactly.
right? What path they should pick. And I understand in this society you have to work.
You have to.
You have to work, and some people
Gotta
are
pay the
worn
bills.
out,
Absolutely.
but that's not an excuse.
Right?
When you get home, you have to take that time, whether you have a family or not. I have a family, I have kids.
Mm-hmm.
You take that time,
Yes.
and you have to think about what you like
Bottom line.
and what you love.
Absolutely.
Even when you don't have kids,
Bottom
right?
line. Yes, sir.
That's even more of, you shouldn't have an excuse of why you're not trying to find out what you want,
Absolutely.
right? Because I think when you get to that point, instead of saying, man, what do I like?
Mm-hmm.
You start looking around to see what everyone else likes.
Exactly.
Right?
Bottom line.
So when you're looking around and you see so many people follow the crowd,
There you go.
and they say, man, everybody else doing this. I think I could be successful with it.
How do you distinguish yourself?
How do you distinguish yourself from
Yes,
the
sir.
rest, right?
Bottom line.
And that's where this name Distinguished Twins came from, is
Yes.
we had to, time and time again, separate ourselves, distinguish ourselves from the rest
Yes.
in order to get what we wanted.
Yes.
And everyone has to be in that mindset
Yeah.
where you have to separate yourself in order to get what you want, right?
Yes, sir.
Because it might be people in your field who are successful,
Yes, sir.
but those people took the time to figure out what they wanted.
Yes.
And that's how they achieve success.
Yes.
And I measure success by the obstacles you had to overcome to get to where you are.
Bottom line.
I'm not talking about people that woke up with $1 million and they have a business. Good for them.
born
I'm
on
not
third
saying they're
base.
bad people.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, when you go home and you like, my job, I don't hate it, but I feel like there's something else I should be doing.
Bottom line.
You have to sit down and you have to find that passion.
You have to listen to that intuition.
You have to listen.
You have to.
Because if you follow the crowd, I promise you, your treetop will be mediocrity. Period.
And if you're okay with that,
That's
perfectly
fine. But I'm not okay with that. And I don't think anyone else should be okay with that. I think everyone should strive for greatness. You only have one life to live. I think everyone should strive for greatness and figure out what their purpose or their passion is,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Because I feel like with this podcast, I think we'll get a chance to express a lot of things. And I feel we are passionate about this as well.
Absolutely.
We've done public speaking. He's obviously a professor. I've done public speaking in different realms as well.
Yes, sir.
So I knew that we could do this. Turn the cameras on, turn the mics on. I knew that we can do this, and that's why we are doing this. But this is not a session to say, oh, look at me. No. Not at all.
No.
That's the last thing. Because
never be that.
it could never be that. But moving forward in the following episodes, you'll see that we do have rich, valuable information that you can use for your life or that you can share with others. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But all in all, that's what we aim to accomplish. So
yes, sir. And like you said, man, ultimately, as he stated, it's gonna come down to confidence. At the end of the day, whatever it is that you decide that you want to do, just give it your all. Give it your all. Again, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in your dream, don't expect anybody else to. And please don't be one of the people who is constantly complaining about the people who aren't supporting you.
yes,
What you have to understand is this: most of the very successful people that we know are supported by complete strangers.
Yes.
Who've never met them a day in their lives.
Yes.
And so you have to be willing to push your brand, invest into yourself, and most importantly, invest that confidence into yourself, because if you believe you can do it, you literally can do it. It's a fact.
Yes.
Bottom line.
Yes.
Invest that energy. It's the law of reciprocity.
Yes.
Whatever you put into it, it will return to you.
yes,
Just keep going.
Yes.
And so that's what confidence is. So, I mean, if you look at these people, for the people you can see,
Yeah.
up on the wall, like you said, Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
You talked about Nipsey.
yeah.
How you feel about Nipsey?
Man, it's I don't know. I got turned on to Nipsey when I was it was a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I had heard his music, but I wasn't deep into his music yet. And my older brother, love him, Rodney, love you,
Love you, bro.
love you.
Man, he helped design who we are today.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And I've taken a lot of things from him, but also he said, "Man, he's like, bro, have you heard you listen to Nipsey Hussle?" I'm like,
We didn't do West Coast.
yeah, I'm like,
Right?
because we from the Midwest, so we listen to down south,
Yeah.
even East Coast,
Right.
a lot more so than anything. And he said, I listen to his music, man, and he reminds me of you.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? And at that time, I felt like I was going through a little rough time in my life, and I needed some motivation, some inspiration. So I started listening to his music a lot, and I was an entrepreneur at that time. And I just felt like it was a connection, and
Yeah.
I felt like once we reached our platforms, we would connect with him because he
Exactly.
loved the community.
Yes, sir.
He loved to help people. He wanted to give back. He came from the streets, and he was special. He was special. He was a king,
Yes.
right? But confidence. You listen to his music, man. He talks about the failures and and you can see his triumph. He dropped his first album and was up for album of the year. All of his mixtapes, like
Exactly.
one thing he never ever lacked was confidence.
Ever.
And I felt like it was a kindred spirit type thing where I'm like, man, I can vibe with this. I feel that in my soul, and so that was the start of it. But powerful man. And go ahead.
No, I was just saying, you got Nipsey, and then
You got Jay-Z.
I mean, if you look at all these posters behind us, it explains a lot about us.
Yes.
Each and every poster we've taken something from.
Yes.
Even the cartoons that you can see.
Yes.
And honestly, if I had to choose, my favorite one is of that man up there,
Yeah.
Malcolm X.
Yes.
Malcolm X, for me, the greatest man to ever live. He was nothing short of a hero.
Yes.
You're talking about someone who was extremely selfless. When I think about the work that we will go on to do
Yes.
in community development, as I stated, what I'm getting my PhD in. So we have initiatives already built out that we will be executing very shortly here. But when I think about a community developer, a community leader who wanted to create solidarity, who wanted to create agency for his community, nobody spoke higher volumes than Malcolm X, in my opinion.
Yes.
And I respect all the other great civil rights leaders and
Yes.
of the past and even of today.
Yes.
But Malcolm X, his story was just absolutely inspirational.
Yeah.
I read his autobiography, and if you've never read the Malcolm X autobiography, I would strongly recommend. I believe it was written by Alex Haley. The gentleman, I believe he wrote Roots.
Yeah.
And I think he ended up being an informant or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, great autobiography. When I read it again, I cried, I laughed several times. And nobody has ever, their story has never touched my spirit like Malcolm X's.
Yes.
And so he certainly inspires me. He motivates me just through his approach, just for his passion, his fervor that he possessed for his community.
Yes.
And so for me, I also want to go on and do some of the things that he was looking to do as well, and some of the things that he was able to accomplish in it.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't know much about the Nation of Islam, I think single-handedly he helped to expand the Nation of Islam, I mean, to what it is today.
Yeah.
He certainly played a vital role. But again, I think, he's a hero. And again, if you look at a lot of these posters, and again, you got LeBron James, one of the for me, one of the most influential philanthropists, activists that there are out there today. I believe that he's absolutely inspirational, great father, a great example of a husband. I mean, through and through, great athlete, businessman, what have you. He's extremely influential. And again, we'll touch on a lot of these. And again, even if you look at the cartoons, Seth MacFarlane, love Seth MacFarlane. I believe he's nothing short of a comedic genius. To really be able to produce the content that he does as strongly as he's been able to have, television shows running for decades.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So he's certainly in a league of his own. But my brother and I, we watch American Dad and Family Guy probably every night. So it's a great part of our humor. On a daily basis. So yes, sir,
for sure. And I mean, I think we kind of hit on the points that we wanted to hit on for this. Like I said, we wanted to have this introduction to who we are, what we're about, and we hope that you will tune in and listen to us more. Watch us more, and like I said, we will be sharing a lot of information, but we'll also try to get you all engaged as well. So that we can have healthy discourse.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's what we're looking for
on our social media platforms. So,
absolutely.
And we will go live eventually as well. But with that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Appreciate you tuning in.
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, we've this is a start.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to many more, the ensuing episodes.
Yes.
We'll get into many more specific topics.
Yes.
And we'll explore those and expound upon those as much as we can.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So with that being said, thank you for stopping by.
Keep it classy.
Keep it classy. And we will see you.
Thanks for stopping by. If you don't know what that is, then you don't know good movie.
Exactly. Anchorman right there in the corner.
Yes, sir.
But anyways, thank you.
Yeah.
See you next time.
All right. Bye.
Good.
Yes, sir.
That was nice. That was good.